Game development has been a massive part of my life for nearly 5 years, and I do this all with a full-time job. And one of my main goals when starting this channel was helping others get into game development. So instead of my usual devlogs, we'll do a week in the life style thing, and I'll show you how I manage game development with the rest of my life.
So the first day of the week is pretty much like every other. I try to get up around 7.
Alex, wake me up in 15 minutes.
Morning, Sean. 15-minute alarm set for 7:15 a.m.
Thank you.
And then I start the day with a cup of coffee. Then I'm out the door before about 8 or 8:30. Since each day is different, I'll drive for about 2 to 3 hours a day, depending on where I'm working. Without getting into any detail or disclosing anything, I work in IT, and then I drive all the way back home again. Once I'm home, it's usually spent unwinding and relaxing from work, and playing with my son and feeding him and getting him into bed. I occasionally try to fit in some game dev here and there straight after work, but I usually find it's a lot better for you if you just relax and unwind before you get back into doing any more thinking and work or anything like that. Alright, so in between all the little moments I've had today since I got home, I was able to like compile all the clips and little things that I've collected throughout the day just to see how they all fit together, build a little bit of a timeline and everything, all the clips you probably would have just seen. I really want to try and make this video like on the fly and make it a little bit more authentic with a lot less editing, so that's why there's lots of like terrible camera footage in general instead of my proper camera. Right, it's about 8:54 and it's time to get into some scheduled game development properly. We're starting a little bit later today because I was watching House of the Dragon with my fiance. So I haven't got any tasks to do in Unity for the game that we're going to be working on. I'm working through the progression system of the game. I'm in the process of playtesting through the game from start to finish to see how long it takes. So we're going to go through that, and then I'm going to go over the XP system and how I've been trying to balance and manage it. And then I'm going to be taking notes of things that I've noticed or want changed, or bugs that have happened during the game, or just any like fixes in general. Alright, so it's 11:35 at night, and it's almost time for me to go to bed. I haven't finished playing the game yet, but I'm getting really close. I did manage to fix a few things on the fly. There were certain images that were appearing incorrectly instead of others, and certain rewards in the game not being given out, so I quickly jumped into Unity and fixed them, and then I made a note of just other things that I needed. Alright, so for Foot Joust, I've created a system where the player levels up, and when they level up, they get more enemies and items and things unlocked in the game. And I've just been trying to gauge the pacing of the game and making sure it doesn't take like 5 hours between each different major section of the game. And the leveling system is handled by this probably one of the worst algorithms you've ever seen in your life. Using some scripting, I was able to export how much XP each level contains, and then I put it into a Google Sheet so I can just look it over, and I've iterated over this several times just to get it right. And then a lot of this is also balanced with how I set up the enemies themselves. And during the process, I just added to my list of stuff to do. That way I can do it all in bulk next time when I'm actually going to do some Unity development, like when I'm going to do a stream on Thursday, or possibly tomorrow or Wednesday. We'll just start making all these changes and fixes and doing things. So Tuesdays are more about playing my guitar. I usually play throughout the week here and there, but on Tuesday I'll pretty much play from when I get home all the way up to my lesson at 8:30. And then I'll usually get into game dev. So it's about 9:10 now, and I'm going to get started on some of the issues and changes that I wanted to make that we listed yesterday. Alright, it's 11:43 and it's almost time for me to go to bed, but I've made a few changes from my list of things to do. There were a few sound effects that were playing through the incorrect channel, so I adjusted that. The music would not re-enable after it was disabled in the settings as well, due to similar methods. And then we have most of these crates weren't even finished to begin with, like they didn't have shadows, some of the sound effects weren't there, so I quickly went into free sound and downloaded a rock sound that I could alter and modify, because it's kind of too dark to go outside right now and like make my own rock sound effect. This is the sound that we came up with, which this is the original one that I took from free sound and pitched it down quite a bit. Then we got the normal crate noise pitched down again, and then just me slapping my fists together and then changing the pitch to be lower again as well. And then we have this little guy here who's not meant to kill or damage the player, but whenever the player has 0 health, it would kill them instead. So I'll quickly patch that up.
now all those are working. OneNote is the tool I use to write all my scripts because it syncs between my phone and my PC, so I'm able to keep writing when I have an idea, or if I'm out and about or just in a different room from my PC, just like what I'm doing right now. That's right, you're currently watching me type out what I'm saying right now as I work on some of the scripted parts of the video, like for the start and the end, just while I'm chilling after work. Alright, so it's just gone past 7 o'clock and I don't have any other plans, so we're going to pretty much just be doing game development for the rest of the night. Alright, so it's pushing that time close to midnight again, and I spent most of the development time fixing a particular bug. When the player revives, they hit onto a random object and die again. So it turns out they were heading onto the random coins because it was inheriting the tag of its parent. So I spent a few hours kind of figuring that out and making sure it's fixed correctly and not just patched up. Then I worked on a little script that when you crash into these obstacles, they go transparent, so when you revive, the player doesn't get confused. So I added that script to any of the previous ones that existed as well. So on a typical Thursday after work, before I can get any work done on my game, I need to take care of the sheep. You see, in New Zealand, everyone here owns at least a couple of sheep if you're not a farmer, as there are 24 million sheep and only 5 million human stock. So we typically have to keep tradition and government regulation in knitting sweaters for them to survive in the winter. It's a bit time consuming, but I think it makes them look pretty stylish. After all that, and just before I'm about to chuck my son into bed, I quickly made a little tweet to commemorate completing the 100 days of game development challenge over on my Twitter, which I neglected for like the last 10 days, but here's the post. And throughout the challenge I got a lot of stuff done on foot joust, so yeah. I'm just going to hang out for a bit before my live stream at 8 o'clock. Alright, I'm about to go live. I'm just going to show you quickly what it looks like from my perspective. Over here we've got just all the screen that you're probably going to see. And I've got my little live stream stuff in OBS with the chat. It's about to start in a few minutes. Then I have the stream open here, just double check that everything's working correctly. And just my second window so I can screen stuff before I show it on screen, or just look at other things quickly on the side if I need to. Alright, so we're just gonna hit start. Alright, I'm live. I forgot to hit the live button. A little technical difficulty to start with, as I was talking to myself before and no one while I was not live. I've got a bunch of jobs and tasks and things, like bugs and fixes and things that we're going to do for FootJump. So we're going to end the stream there. Thanks for everyone who showed up at the last minute. We got a lot done. We've got some cool stuff done. I'll see you guys later. Catch you later. Alright. And that concludes the stream for tonight. It was really quiet. It's probably one of my worst streams because not many people showed up until the very end, which is quite embarrassing. But we did get quite a lot done, like the XP bar system that you see here. That's all upgraded, and we fixed one of the enemies. So I will catch up with you tomorrow, which will be in like 3 seconds. So Friday means I'm home early from work, just gonna hang out for a bit. I'm not gonna do any scheduled game dev, but I might mess around in Unity a little bit. I might play around with some of the clips that I've been editing so far in this video, and see how that goes, and then just kind of chill out. I was actually meant to be in Auckland tonight, seeing Tenacious D, but
Last week, Kyle quit the band.
But now we're off to the movies to do something else instead, after we have what is traditionally every Friday night pizza in our house. Alright, so I just got back from the theatre from seeing Deadpool. It was pretty good. 6 out of 10. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It was definitely more Deadpool. Definitely more grating, and probably a little bit weaker than the last two, but it did have some moments, I think, at least. But hey, if you're one of those people that like pointing at the screen, seeing things you recognize, then you're definitely going to be one of those people. Alright, so typically on a Friday, I don't do any game dev in the afternoon. I'll probably play a game, which is usually Helldivers at this point, but because it's late after I've got out of the movie and nobody's online anymore, I think I'm just gonna jump into like Dave the Diver or something. So weekends are a bit different. They're usually more about spending time with my family and my son. So in the morning I'll usually just hang out or chill a bit. So I'm trying to set up the opening shot of the video, but it's really dim in here, and it's also really dark outside because it's the middle of winter and the sun isn't out. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. and then we usually go and do things that my son wants to do. And game development comes a little bit more spontaneously, or when I have a moment. I don't really care about the Olympics, but it was just on in the background, so that was kind of what we were doing. But I managed to witness actual music history when Gojira opened the ceremony, so that was awesome. But today we took my son to the library, and then we came home for a little bit and I tried to film some bits for this video. Alright, it's a little bit brighter and I think we've got something that might actually work a little bit better. So I've got a short window to film this, so we'll go see what happens. And then we went all the way back out again to the zoo for the 40th time this year. So Saturday, same thing again. I don't do game development in the evening, I usually play a game. Recently I've been doing live streams of people's games in the community. This video is getting pretty long, so we'll just... You already know the deal. I've done a live stream before, so we'll just... Alright, so Sunday, more or less the same thing, but I managed to fit in some time to finish off what we were doing on Thursday during the live stream, which is the XP bar system, like a secret map and all that kind of stuff. So that's all kind of wrapped up and ready to go. And once again, I don't do any game dev in the evening because one of my other hobbies is film, and I had a problem when I was getting into game development that I would just stop watching films. So every Sunday I'll try and sit down and watch 2 movies back to back from my list of my big backlog of films that I really want to watch, usually from podcast recommendations or from this 1001 movies to watch before you die book that I'm trying to get through. So tonight I'm going to be watching Come and See, which is a film I haven't seen in a few years. I really wanted to rewatch it again. And Lars von Trier's Antichrist, which I've never seen. So I'll catch up with you after those movies. Alright, so Come and See. It's a masterpiece. I really love this movie. I think everyone should watch it or experience it at some point. It's like walking through hell, really, which is all helped by its just incredible cinematography, the atmosphere, and its sound design, which is a balance of hyperrealism and weird surrealism. I don't know, it's just unbelievable and just terrifying. Antichrist, I think I need some more time to process my thoughts on this one. I don't have fully articulated thoughts about this film. It was certainly interesting. The cinematography was either really distracting at times and really effective at others. It's themes and more provocative and controversial elements. I think I feel more positive towards, but something I might need to revisit and analyze further maybe, but feeling a positive 7 out of 10 on that one. Alright, well, I also have a Letterboxd account where I rate all my movies, which will be linked below if that's of interest. And with that said, this is the last shot that I'm filming for this video, so I'm going to chuck it in the editor and then we're going to get this uploaded to YouTube. And I guess that brings us to the end for now. I hope this sets an example of how you can balance game development in a realistic way with everything else. And it probably makes more sense why I didn't do a day in the life, because every day is different. You can use the whole week to create your structure. This video was also originally going to be about how to get into game development, but the focus has somewhat changed after the narrative developed and the length of the video started to grow as I was pretty much building this video as I went along. And in general, you can swap out some of the parts where I'm editing the video for just doing little bits of more game dev. Instead of telling you how to get into game dev like I planned, I'll just say this. If you're hesitant or on the fence about game development, just start. You can make it work, even if it's just a couple of hours per week. And if you're hesitant about an engine, just pick one at random. There are so many resources out there that can help you, and they're all free. Just schedule it and find the time. You don't have to start a game studio in 12 months. Just make some blocks move around on the screen. You can go from there and just do it slowly. And with all of that said, thanks for watching.